start off with naming our dog.
He wasn't like this in Lothering. I think he misses the open fields.
Come on. Let's play Fetch the Invisible Ball.
He just needs to get out more. Don't you, boy?
But if he's with us, who'd keep Gamlen's debt collectors away?
Take it. I'm sick of what's-his-name staring and panting.
Gamlen, honestly, a Mabari understands what you say. Try using his name.
What's wrong with dog? Real easy to remember.
And then we're sticking with the basketball theme, you know?
My children have been in servitude for a year. They should be nobility.
If wishes were poppy, we'd all be dreaming.
You mean this is real? No wonder I can't wake up.
And here I thought that Ferelden you ran off with was a mage, not a jester. Your mother was supposed to marry the Comte de Lancey, and instead she ran off with some Ferelden apostate. You don't get to stay the favorite when you do that.
Where is Father's will? If I could just see for myself.
It's not here, all right? It was read, it went in the vault. No one needed to look at it again.
Did Grandfather mention Mother in his will at all?
Our father died when you were still in Pinafores, girl. You can hardly expect me to remember.
Oh, of course not. Why should you do something reasonable?
That touched a nerve. What's in there that you don't want us to see?
Nothing. But you won't be seeing the bloody thing. It's still locked up on the estate, and that's long out of my hands.
What daft bastard leaves that behind?
It was old news. You think I've been sitting here for 25 years waiting for Leandra to slink back?
Who bought the estate, Gamlen? Perhaps I could speak to them. Was it the Reinhardts?
No one you know. Get used to Lowtown, sister. That's where we're going to stay.
Maker, what a mess. I want to make things better for Mother. But some of what Gamlen says, I'm having a hard time hating him. Playing caretaker for someone else's life. Stuck in their shadow. That's no way to live.
And there it is.
Look, if you want to join the fight over who lost the most, fine. But I never lived here. Mother even gave me her old key to try and stir something. But I didn't know Grandfather. Finding his will doesn't matter to me.
You want a connection? This is where we'll find it.
The once mighty Amels? A bunch of slavers are squatting on that dusty glory.
What have you heard?
Uncle's a chatty drunk. He was up to his neck and signed everything over. That's who has the estate. Apparently, the most extensive wine cellar in Kirkwall is now a slave highway from the Undercity. That's the family legacy.
That sounds like an arrangement that needs to change.
And what if it does? We still aren't important enough to actually live in the place.
Baby steps, Carver.
All right, sister. If the key works, we'll clear the estate from the Undercity up. I don't know if this will help, but I do feel like hitting someone.
I think that'll
I'm
help.
with you, sister. For now.
For now. God, he hates my guts. Okay. Ooh, I leveled up. The Royal Collection. Aldenon's heirlooms. Oh, inventory full. Very well. The cardinal rules of magic. You must not be under the misimpression that magic is all-powerful. There are limits, and not even the greatest mages may overcome them. No one, for instance, has found any means of traveling either over great distances or small ones, beyond putting one foot in front of the other. The immutable nature of the physical world prevents this, so no, you may not simply pop over to Minrathous to borrow a cup of sugar, nor may you magic the essay you forgot in the apprentice dormitory to your desk. You will simply have to be prepared. Similarly, even when you send your mind into the Fade, your body remains behind. Only once has this barrier been overcome, and reputedly the spell required 2/3 of the lyrium and Tevinter Imperium, as well as the lifeblood of several hundred slaves. The results were utterly disastrous. Finally, life is finite. A truly great healer may bring someone back from the very precipice of death, when breath and heartbeat have ceased, but the spirit still clings to life. But once the spirit has fled the body, it cannot be recalled. That is no failing of your skills or power, it is simply reality. The Lectures of First Enchanter Winsilis. Okay, let's level up. Magic. Willpower. And oh my god, I have 5. Okay, hold on now. Yeah, sure, we'll do that. Okay, but only one ability point. Level 6. One more level up, and we'll have that. Force Mage, Spirit Healer, Blood Mage. Let me just look at this because I just want to see if we even have the ability. Let's see. Enslaves a target, forcing it to fight alongside the party. Sucks the life force from an ally. The mage now gains more health than the party member loses. Hemorrhage. Corrupts the blood of all foes in the targeted area, inflicting damage over a short time. This must be what they do to us. Consumes residual life force from corpses. From living enemies as well, okay. I still don't know if that's going to be worth it. What do I wanna choose? Enemy damage resistance. Horror. That is very useful. based on the staff type. Go arcane shield, damage resistance 50. But it only lasts 6 seconds. Well, for the first level of it. It's a passive ability. It's kind of cool. Ooh. Lots of things that do extra damage to disoriented targets. Okay. That also does damage to disoriented targets. They get staggered. How do you disorient them though? That may not be a mage talent. Okay, let's look at these. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I should like focus on controlling the battlefield. Oh, this works for all party members. Man. We'll just have to see how that goes. Freedom's promise. Okay. That looks cool. Throw that in the trash. Robes of the Pretender. Yeah. Okay, that looks kind of cool. At first I didn't think I was wearing shoes. Oh my god, I can't... You can't wear anything else? Oh, just because I'm not level 6, okay. I'm pretty sure that necklace is not going to go to me, but... Yeah. Oh, it's for Meryl. Okay. And these are the DLCs that I have not done in so long. I actually don't even know if I've ever done Mark the Assassin, but I think we'll save those for much, much later. Nothing in there, okay.
Get out of my face!
You're in front of the writing desk.
You nagging me.
But there's nothing in there, so you got lucky. Okay. I don't think, unless you play a dual weapon... No, there's Isabella. I'm not crazy. Store those. Okay, only I can wear stuff, so it's gonna take me a long time to get to 19 strength, so yeah, I'm also not level 17. I guess I could sell some of this stuff. We'll see how selling it goes. I kind of feel like they're not going to be worth very much, but, you know, we'll give it a shot. Oh, okay, Carver can wear that. I've got him already. We're probably going to get her soon, but we'll put it away. Okie doke. Wait, no, we don't have anything. Okay. Go finish looking around. Okay, gosh, they've got level ups too. Alright. Strength, con, and dex. And shield bash. Strength, strength, con. I really want to give him the whirlwind, but we'll wait on that. Tremor, that sounds good. Okay, now we'll give you guys some stuff. Okay. She wants to keep Sir Wesley's shield, but I mean, that's a really nice shield, you know. But we'll let her keep his shield. Like, I get it. I definitely get it. Bianca's already perfect. Mwah. Improves with level up. And honestly, I think she kind of looks cooler. In this. I mean, look at how she just folds up. So neat. Anyway. Save.
You know, Junior,
Okay.
you're looking at this all wrong.
Whatever it is you're about to say, I'm not interested.
I'm a professional younger brother. Trust me, the center of attention.
Have that tattoo.
When things go wrong, and they always do, that's where all the fingers point. Look at any kingdom in Thedas. You've got people who warm thrones, and people nobody sees who do the real work.
And my sister is a queen in this scenario. Perfect.
Point, missing it. Oh well.
Kirkwall, the elven alienage. Lowtown is home to a squalid elven alienage. Here, like in most Thedas alienages, elves are packed into tiny rundown apartments and effectively segregated from the human population. Kirkwall's alienage is even more dilapidated than the rest of Lowtown, but the elves go to great lengths keeping the place looking bright and festive. The Venadal, Tree of the People, standing in the middle of the alienage, is a symbol of for elven pride and shared cultural identity. It is lovingly cared for. It's difficult to say if the elves would continue confining themselves to the alienage if they were given the chance to mingle. They may not admit it, but some feel that living among their kind is far better than living with the humans, no matter how terrible alienage life may be. From the pursuit of knowledge, the travels of a chantry scholar. Brother TV.
Not today. My sisters have me decorating the Venador.
I like that this one is painted. Alienage culture. There have always been alienages. I don't know why that word just got really hard to say. They've been around for as long as elves and shems have lived in the same lands. Ours isn't even the worst. Yes, that's something to be proud of, right? Absolutely. They say that Valrio has 10,000 elves living in a space no bigger than Dinneram's Market. Their walls are supposedly so high that daylight doesn't reach the Venadal until midday. Damn. But don't be so anxious to start tearing down the walls and picking fights with the guards. They keep out more than they keep in. We don't have to live here, you know. Sometimes a family gets a good break and they buy a house in the docks or the outskirts of town. If they're lucky, they come back to the alienage after the looters have burned their house down. The unlucky ones just go to the pauper's field. Here, we're among family. We look out for each other. Here, we do what we can to remember the old days. The flat ears who have gone out of their way, they're stuck. They'll never be human. And they've gone and thrown away being elven too. So where does that leave them? Nowhere. Sarathea, Harahan of the High Ever alienage. Damn. That's depressing.
Greetings.
Okay. I wish you could be a city elf origin in Dragon Age Inquisition. I think that would be fun. Whoa. I didn't realize there's a hanged man back here too. Interesting. Somehow I've never noticed that. Okay. Spindleweed. It is an old country saying that spindleweed grows best okay. It is an old country saying that spindleweed grows best for the sorrowful. Verdant spindleweed in a household's garden has often brought neighbors offering consolation, usually without ever asking what might be wrong. This originates from the plant's use as a seasoning for dishes meant to speed the recovery of the infirm. A person who grows much of it is likely caring for the fatally ill. An excerpt from the Botanical Compendium by... Hey! Inez! Aurencia? Botanist. Yeah, we got her some seeds in Awakening. That's fun. I think we'd see her again. Oh, Varric, I didn't realize you leveled up. Dex, Cunning. I want to do Cunning again because I kind of need him to open things and disarm stuff. So, hopefully that levels up more. He has speed, and you can only do one of these at a time. Rush. That could be useful. I think we're gonna have him do a subterfuge thing. Yeah. Stun. I mean, if we go into this, we'll probably go, like, everything into this, so... We'll just start with evade. Oh my. Okay. Pop over here. Okay, nothing. That's fine, that's fine.
Quality armor. The best outside of Orzammar. Quality
Okay, then.
armor.
Okay, then. Oh. Right, I forgot. Gotta do it this way. Yes, see, these are all 1 copper. I mean, I guess it's just so you can't make a profit really early in the game. But maybe I wanted to do that. But whatever. That's for Aveline.
Outside of Orzammar.
Yes, great. Wasn't sure if it would automatically go or not.
Oh,
but I think
right,
it
the
does.
Rusty Metal Spike District, my favorite part of town. Can we leave now?
Alright, the Rusty Metal Spike District. Hey, there's water down there. I would have liked a part where I can run across those little ramps to nowhere. That'd be fun. Little chase sequence or something. Damn. That sucks.
I got it all figured out. There was no blight. And that's the
Okay.
Why would it stop?
Remain. Nowhere in my travels, not in the heat of the Imperium nor the streets of Orzammar, have I felt so much an outsider as in Ravane. The chant of light never truly reached the ears of these people. The years they spent under the thumb of the Qunari left most of the country's zealous followers of the Qun. But resistance to the chant goes deeper than the Qunari War. The Ravani refuse to be parted from their seers, wise women who are in fact hedge mages, communicating with spirits and actually allowing themselves to become possessed. The chantry prohibition against such magical practices violates millennia of local tradition. Yeah, the thing with actually reading all the codexes is
It took decades for the other
I'm
blights to
like
run their
rereading
courses.
some that I
This one,
just am not realizing until I read it. I'm like, oh wait,
it never happened. It was
definitely read
all
this
a
before.
Ferelden ploy.
Okay. Order a drink. I wish you could actually get like tipsy. And then your character just like, whoa. That'd be fun.
So he comes down wearing
Instead I just lose money.
We have a few
That's fine.
things and everyone's right, but it doesn't care.
Just gonna admire the art.
Just airing things out.
The random spikes. Not holding anything. You can only imagine what they used to hang on that stuff.
A Ferelden in the guard. What will they think of next?
You have a problem with that?
Me? My family's not native either. I'm just surprised. A lot of old prejudice in the guard.
I'll give them plenty of reason to change their minds.
You know, it's possible they're just scared
She's so
shitless of
positive.
you. That's my theory, anyway.
I think it's a good theory. Oh, you can't run all the way around. Okay, good to know. Anyway, this is Varric's room. Hey. Look at that wall art. That's interesting. What up, bud?
So, here's the thing. We need to find a way into the deep roads. Bartrand can lead us to the right place once we're down there, but we need a good entrance.
Any entrance would do, wouldn't it? Well, unless a dragon's sitting in it, I suppose.
We need an entrance that's close to our destination, but isn't already plundered or filled with darkspawn. Fortunately, I've received some new information. There's a Grey Warden in the city. If anyone knows how to get down there, it'll be him.
Why would a Grey Warden know that?
The Wardens don't just fight darkspawn. They forge into the deep roads all the time. And if he doesn't know, he might be able to point us to those who do.
Are there any other options?
None at the moment. Bartrand had an entrance lined up, but it was a bust. I'll keep looking, but if we don't find something, we'll have a fancy expedition with nowhere to go.
Sounds like you have it all planned out, Varric.
And that, Messer, is why I'm here. Supposedly, this Grey Warden came in with some other Ferelden refugees not long ago. A Lowtown woman named Lorene has been helping the Fereldans. We talked to her. Maybe we learn where he is. I'll keep after my contacts, see if I can drum up any other work.
so much better than whenever you're like the aggressive hawk. Varric really doesn't like aggressive hawk. And I've definitely never had the like full rivalry friendships. Excuse me, wow. History of Kirkwall, Chapter 1. It's difficult for many to comprehend today, but there was a time when Kirkwall was believed to be the very edge of the world. It was Amerius then, named after its founder magister, Amerius Craven. And it was but one outpost on the very fringe of the Tevinter Imperium. There the magister's serfs worked the quarries for the jet stone needed to build the mighty temples of Minrathous. After a slave rebellion nearly burned the temple to the ground in the great city, it was determined that a center for the slave trade would need to be established, well away from the more civilized parts of the Imperium. Though this account may be exaggerated, since the notorious Archon Venarius Isar narrowly escaped assassination at the hands of an elven slave at the time. Because the new slave outpost would become wealthy beyond imagining, competition among prospects reportedly took over 20 years to resolve, resulting in great bloodshed on the frontier, while well away from the Archon's eyes. Magister took arms against Magister, mostly in the form of small armies of serfs and mercenaries. Over half the slaves in existence allegedly died in these battles before Amerius was finally chosen, thanks to the marriage of Craven's son to the Archon's daughter. Within a mere decade, the mighty fortress was erected on the cliffs where Kirkwall now stands. Over 1 million slaves passed through its gates before the Imperium eventually fell, an unimaginable number by today's standards. The Craven family itself became patrons of the next 3 Archons. It was one of the driving forces behind the extension of the Imperial Highway into the Ferelden Valley, a move that would cost them considerable political influence after the resistance of the Alamari tribes. During its height, Amerius was a jewel to rival the mightiest of imperial cities and the greatest center of civilization outside Tevinter. From Kirkwall, the City of Chains, by Brother Genetivi, 924 Dragon. Look at that, he wrote a whole book on Kirkwall for some reason. I love this bar music too. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to brandish my weapon. Oh my gosh. Turn radius a little off. Okay. Tranquility. Oh yeah, we still gotta go into the chantry just to access it.
So, what do you do, Aveline?
You know I'm a guard. Why are you asking?
I mean in your off-duty hours, for fun. You've heard of it, I hope.
These are my off-duty hours.
And the trend of you scaring the piss out of me continues.
That's probably one of my most favorite banter between them. It's like, what do you do for fun, you know, in your off hours? This is my off hours. Okay, you continue to be utterly terrifying.
They must be stopped.
Aveline's probably one of my inspirations for rugby. It's just like, yeah, no, I'll just brute force everybody in my day life, and then in my night life, brute force everybody again. It's like, okay, ma'am. No off switch? Alright. Okay, good to know. I mean, she inspires Varric so much, he writes a whole book about her. Okay, sorry. I guess the book is about What's it about? It's about, well, Hard and Hightown, I guess, is about her future second husband, Donick. And then, whatever, I don't remember what the other book is called, but it has someone that looks like Aveline on the front, so then it's like the more romantic side. But that's the one that Cassandra reads in Inquisition. I think that one was Varric's. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, right. I think we're gonna have to fight that guy if we go over there, so we'll do this first.
Will everyone please just step back? My mother's in labor. The baby's come early. Can anyone help her?
I'll send word to the healer, but
My son's hurt bad. Cart overturned on him in the blasted bone pit.
Everyone in your turn.
Not the
I
bone pit.
promise we have donations coming in. There will be food and medicine for all of you.
if you're seeking aid, leave your name with my girl. We serve everyone here. No one came from Ferelden without trouble. But I can't give priority to anyone who's already found work and lodging.
Is there a way I can assist these people?
If you've coin to spare, we won't turn it down. Donations go in the box up front. Anything else?
I hear you know where I can find a Ferelden Grey Warden.
Only Ferelden Grey Warden I've heard of slew the Archdemon to save us all. Fat lot they care here. We're out of the Blight's path now. Why would you need a warden?
The healer was one of them once, wasn't he? A warden?
Well, he's not now, and busy enough without answering fool questions about it.
Then I'll only ask very smart questions.
I do not joke, Sirrah. You see what our people face in Kirkwall. They have no jobs, no homes. Most can barely buy bread. This healer, he serves them without thought for coin. He's closed their wounds, delivered their children.
And yet he needs to hide.
He's a good man. I won't lose him to the blighted Templars.
Tell me he's got killer eyes and a nice smile. I'll marry him on the spot.
No.
As it happens, he's got the eyes. But I've never seen him smile. It's always seemed like he must have lost even more than the rest of us. I suppose you can seek him out. Anders certainly hasn't turned anyone else away. Look for the lit lantern in Darktown. If you have need enough, Anders will be within.
Is there any flour? We've been out for a week. The children are eating sawdust.
The majority of the like Dragon Age fan base is basically taking bets to see which mage is going to betray us in Veilguard. Like if they're just going to keep that trend up because it like happens once, you're like, oh, all right, that's fine. Morgan, run away from us. Sure. And then it happens, you know, twice in this game, and you're like, well, gee, surely that's a coincidence, right? But then it happens 3 times, and you're like, okay, no, the joke is just on us. There's a bigger story here.
Hey, we heard you in there asking about the healer. We know what happens to mages
The
in this
cool
town.
masks his
And
little
it ain't
followers
gonna happen
have.
to him.
You want him safe? Don't pick fights with other Fereldans while the Templars are after us all.
Ferelden? But your clothes. I figured you for a Kirkwaller, sorry. Make her bless
Sorry.
the rule of our Queen Honora.
Oh, look at that. Carver, you got us out of a fight. And a +10 friendship for us? Oh my god. He usually hates me. And I very rarely play as a mage. I mean, usually I'm dual-wielding rogue. And then, and what? I don't know. Shit, when did I get this game? Like 2012? In, I don't know, 12 years of playing this game. I only played as a mage for like the first time maybe like 5 years ago, max. I kind of feel like it was less than that. But that whole time I was just like, yeah, rogue warrior, rogue warrior, rogue warrior. And I was like, why doesn't my brother ever get to live? Like, that's so crazy. Like, why do we even have him if like this is the only option? And then I played a mage and I was like, oh, yeah, no, wait, that makes sense. That makes sense. But, anyway.
Not a step closer. No refunds on the ashes, friend. If the Maker doesn't favor you...
I don't really remember why I was talking about that. So I was just like, oh, well, whatever.
Don't say...
Don't say I didn't warn you. Okay. Right, I have Dispel Magic. That really is not useful for me right now. Okay, this is going kind of alright right now because they're not, you know, magic at this moment in time at least. Whew. Now I will say now probably would have been a great time to have so I was just like, what do I need to do right now? I don't know, more attacks probably. It was something I was gonna say. I don't know. I'm stressed, I'm tired. Trying to keep everybody alive. Oh, a shield. Like a magic protection thing. That's what I was thinking about. I was like, so many options I could have taken. And that's kind of like part of my problem. Like, I don't know. They could all be so useful. Oh, see, I died. Who the hell killed me? Who the hell even killed me? She died too. Oh. It was you, wasn't it? You're just willy-nilly throwing stuff. You know what? That's what needs to go. I was stunned. Bro. Rude. How dare you? Drinking a potion. So mean. Oh no, okay, thank God. There we go. Okay. We got the Tender Swindler, guys. We got the Tender Swindler. Just like, where the hell am I going? I was looking at my little mini-map and I was like, what the fuck?
So, Carver, have you thought about what you'll do if your expedition doesn't pay off? The thieves are gone, Guardsman.
Did you say something? I didn't hear you. And clumsy me. I seem to have dropped a coin purse in your hand.
So very clumsy. Better keep better track of that or something. I don't know. Look at these flayed pigs. Messed up. Oh my god, of course. Now I've got mail. God damn it. Back to the house. Run around. This big ass keg. too sharp. Gamlin, we're back.
Someone dropped off a message for you. It's on the desk.
Not before he gave it a shake to see if there were coins inside.
I was worried they would fall out.
Sure. Bait and switch. Hawk, you might be interested in something that's come up. A contact of mine, a fellow by the name of Anso, is asking around for someone competent regarding a job, and I suggested you. You always paid well, so if I were you, I'd check into it before someone else snaps it up. He said he'll be in Lowtown Bazaar tonight at the Thinfrel. Thank you, ma'am. You know, playthroughs that I've never done in, I think, any of the Dragon Ages is solo runs. Well, for one, I don't think I'd be able to do it on Nightmare. I think I'd probably have to do it on Casual, to be completely honest.
Stop looking at me.
I think I'd probably go crazy if I did it on any other one.
Just don't, alright? You're looking for fodder for your stories.
Oh, no.
Do you think you're that interesting?
I have enough trouble being overshadowed as it is. I don't need to get caught under an imaginary me, too.
Don't you worry. I'm not in the business of lullabies or children's stories.
Well, hot damn. But anyway, there is one specific quest in Dragon Age 2 where if you, like, I can't wait. I'm not sure which one it is, but I know it's one that involves the Chantry at night. And I believe it's in Act 2 because you're living in Hightown at that point. Hold on. Excuse me. But when you're with the group and you leave, you're talking to everyone about it. But if you're by yourself, Hawk just the dialogue takes the amount of time it takes you to walk from the Chantry back to Hawk's place. And it's literally just like either you're talking to the group the whole time or you're by yourself and you just talk to yourself the whole time out loud. And then right when you get back, they're like, huh, I'm just talking to myself out loud. Maybe I need help. Like, I don't know, something like that. It's really good. I can't wait for that moment. I'm gonna clip it. 4 health. That's kind of nice, but I don't think I should buy
Where anything came from.
anything really right now. And then maybe we should be kind of like, hey, yeah, just give us your monies. What is that out there? That'd be interesting. Man, I didn't think about taking pretty save pictures for this. We should do that. I had some ramen for dinner and oh my god. It was so good. I have a real problem. But the real problem is going to be my heart. I don't care. Sodium is my best friend. Look at these cute little boats. Sorry, I had to take a double take at the chains. It's like so interesting that they're like drawing their sails with chains, but I don't know nothing about boats. Okay, bro. Oh no, this is way behind. Oh no. Well, dang. Okay, there we go. I tried to clip that and then I looked down at the screen and I was like, oh. really big delay there. Okay. We're just exploring right now. Nothing's really too interesting until nighttime. Then it's like ambush after ambush.
Seems like.
Rude. Rude, ma'am. I'll show you a mutt. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, I'm done. Is that it? Have we done it all? Looked every bit of this place? I mean, obviously not the Canary area. They won't let us in.
You're not taking my job.
And what is your job, sir? Is it to stand here on this corner yelling stuff at Ferelden's? Is that your job? Is that your business? Okay. All right then. I love that, like, he actually said something back to me. I just didn't catch it. That was... Is this game AI? Okay. Let's go back to Hightown first. And then we're going to pop into the Black Emporium before we hit Darktown, just because I want to catch our dude Xenon. He's a fun guy. And he's got cool codexes in there. Oh my god. My steps are so heavy. Don't walk on your heels. What are you doing? Trying to get shin splints, man? That's how you get them. Well, that's one way. Okay. Alright, okay, hold on. I need to get bundled back up in my blanket. Oh no. I knocked over my water. My water bottle. I dropped this today on the asphalt and I got really worried that I might have broken it. I scared the lady that was next to me. And then I felt like I had to apologize because I frightened her. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. She's like, no, it's okay. Excuse me, guzzling water. And now a body armor. Oh man. Electrolytes. So good. Okay. Oh my gosh, my neck. So stiff. Oh man, okay, cold chill. Jesus Christ, body. Figure it the fuck out. Alright, sorry.
And here we are in the brothel.
Nope.
My day is complete.
Let's not stay here for long.
Madame Lucine runs the place for Harlan. Or with him. Or on him. It's a coterie thing.
See, the banter in this, I feel like, is just so organic. Like, oh, man. I just don't get the Dragon Age 2 hate. I really don't. This is honestly like one of my favorite of the Dragon Ages. And, you know what? Unpopular opinion about to come out my mouth. I think if Dragon Age Veilguard is going to be more similar to Dragon Age 2 than any of the other ones, just like in how it's made and how it's played, I think that would be great. I think that would be fine. I think it would be really fun, and I would not be mad about that. This is 100% a painting of Ferelden. Look at that dog statue. Get a little picture here. Hometown pride. Ferelden's out. Ho, ho, ho. Okay, alright. I said I was done with that, but apparently
I
I'm
swear,
not.
I'm not making this up. He actually said Exalted March of the Dales.
You think that's bad? Mine wanted me to dress up like the Viscount.
Oh, that's just sick.
politics should stay out of the bedroom.
Okay.
I've got your usual ready and waiting for you upstairs, Sarah.
Many thanks, Madam.
Gamlin. That
A
seemed
Reldon,
sus.
are you? We are not a charitable organisation, Sarah. If you cannot pay, you will have to take your lonely self elsewhere. Is that clear? 2 sovereigns for premium service,
Deal.
1 sovereign for standard service. 50 silver and someone may touch you. Briefly.
I'm not interested.
Of course you aren't. Poverty had nothing to do with your decision, I'm sure.
What'll it be, Sir Templar?
God damn.
Mention this to your mother if you don't.
Yep, we're not going to talk about brothels, I assure you.
heard
Oh,
you
there you
lost
are, ma'am.
something. This it? I had never thought to see this again. Thank you.
Sure thing, ma'am. Nice, Rune of Lightning. Don't know what that is doing in the kitchen, but we'll take it. Adding some extra spice to the food. Pigs. Okay. Alright, nothing in there. Do we do the thing? I don't think we can really get much more. Look at this. Okay, I can't pick that lock. Sorry, yawning.
Drinks later.
Never miss him.
Tired of riding side saddle while bitching at your betters? I mean, honestly, that man is a literary genius. The Enderfells. The Enderfells are a land of shocking extremes. It is the most desolate place in all the world, for 2 blights have left great expanses of the steppes so completely devoid of life that corpses cannot even decay there. No insect or grub will ever reach them. It is a land filled with wonders like the Merdane, with its gigantic white statue of Our Lady carved into its face, her hands outstretched and bearing an eternal flame, or Wysop Fortress, with its walls of living rock towering over the desolate plains below. What does it mean, living rock? The Enders, too, are a people of extremes, the most devout priests and the most deadly soldiers, the poorest nation in the world, and the most feared. Okay, can't squeeze behind that table. Ma'am, my goodness. Wow, wow. Okay. Body armor. Tasty.
Did you approve my
Tasty. No, that's not it. Slightly off.
We were both soldiers. Why won't they take me?
I was an officer, and I follow orders.
No, you don't.
I also think of others before myself. You seem tired of that, and that's dangerous.
Just when it's not my choice. You told them not to take me, didn't you?
Yes.
Yes.
Mistress wants silk thread or cotton.
Edidas stated, say, those who harm
I don't care about that.
to the maker himself.
Did we check up here already? Okay, we must have. Let's go ahead and pop into the House of Healing. Oh. The commandments of the Maker. These truths the Makers have revealed to me. As there is but one world, one life, one death, there is but one God, and He is our Maker. They are sinners who have given their love to false gods. Magic exists to serve man and never to rule over him. Foul and corrupt are they who have taken his gifts and turned it against his children. They shall be named Maleficar, accursed ones. They shall find no rest in this world or beyond. All men are the work of our Maker's hands, from the lowest slaves to the highest kings. Those who bring harm without provocation to the least of his children are hated and accursed by the Maker. Those who bear false witness and work to deceive others know this: there is but one truth. All things are known to our Maker, and he shall judge their lives. All things in this world are finite. What one man gains, another has lost. Those who steal from their brothers and sisters do harm to their livelihood and their peace of mind. Our Maker sees this with a heavy heart. Transfigurations 1 to 5. I don't know how you read that. Usually I'm like 1, next number, but whatever. Pop across. Anything in here of note? Don't look at. Okay. Look at these really cool incense burning devices. I don't know. I like it. I think it's neat. And look at Andraste. Damn. She's huge.
Oh, sorry.
Andraste, bride of the Maker. There was once a tiny fishing village in the waking sea that was set upon by the Deventer Imperium, which enslaved the villagers to be sold in the markets of Minrathous, leaving behind only the old and infirm. One of the captives was the child Andraste. She was raised in slavery in a foreign land. She escaped, then made the long and treacherous journey back to her homeland alone. She rose from nothing to be the wife of an Alamari warlord. Each day she sang to the gods, asking them to help her people who remained slaves in Deventer. The false gods of the mountains and the winds did not answer her, but the true God did. The Maker spoke. He showed her all the works of his hands, the Fade, the world, and all the creatures therein. He showed her how men had forgotten him, lavishing devotion upon mute idols and demons, and how he had left them to their fate. But her voice had reached him, and so captivated him that he offered her a place at his side, that she might rule all of creation. But Andraste would not forsake her people. She begged the Maker to return, to save his children from the cruelty of the Imperium. Reluctantly, the Maker agreed to give man another chance. Andraste went back to her husband, Mepharath, and told him all that the Maker had revealed to her. Together they rallied the Alamari and marched forth against the mage lords of the Imperium, and the Maker was with them. The Maker's sword was creation itself, fire and flood, famine and earthquake. Everywhere they went, Andraste sang to the people of the Maker, and they heard her. The ranks of Andraste's followers grew until they were a vast tide washing over the Imperium. And when Mepharath saw that his people loved Andraste and not him, a worm grew within his heart, gnawing upon it. At last, the armies of Andraste and Mepharath stood before the very gates of Minrathous, but Andraste was not with them, for Mepharath had schemed in secret to hand Andraste over to the Deventer. For this, the Archon would give Mepharath all the lands to the south of the Waking Sea. And so, before all the armies of the Alamari and of Deventer, Andraste was tied to a stake and burned, while her earthly husband turned his armies aside and did nothing, for his heart had been devoured. But as he watched the pyre, the Archon softened. He took pity on Andraste, and drew his sword, and granted her mercy of a quick death. The Maker wept for his beloved, cursed Mepharath, cursed mankind for their betrayal, and turned once again from creation, taking only Andraste with him. And Our Lady sits still at his side, where she urges him to take pity on his children, from the sermons of Justinia II. And I mean, I'll probably get another codex entry about this, but the Archon took pity on her because she didn't cry out. She would just silently burned. And he was like, okay, this is kind of fucked up. The Sermons of Divine Renata I. The weakness of mortal will is the great failing of all the Maker's children. We trade our honor as if it were the cheapest of currency. We do not understand what integrity is or what it is truly worth. From this ignorance, original sin was born. At some time, each of us had thought, what does it matter if I keep hold of my integrity? I am but one mortal. I am powerless. How blind we all are. The virtue of a single slave destroyed the Tevinter Imperium. The dishonor of one man drove the Maker from our sight. I tell you truly, nothing but the integrity of our hearts will win the love of the Maker back to us. It is all the power we shall ever possess to change this world, for good or ill. From a sermon on integrity. The Maker. There was no word, for heaven or for earth, for sea or sky. All that existed was silence. Then the voice of the Maker rang out, the first word, and his word became all that might be. Dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities. And from it made his firstborn. And he said to them, in my image I forge you. To you I give dominion over all that exists. By your will may all things be done. Excuse me. Then in the center of heaven he called forth a city with towers of gold, streets with music for cobblestones, and banners which flew without wind. There he dwelt, waiting to see the wonders his children would create. The children of the Maker gathered before his golden throne, and sang hymns of praise unending. But their songs were the songs of the cobblestones. They shone with the golden light reflected from the Maker's throne. They held forth the banners that flew on their own. And the voice of the Maker shook the faith, saying, in my image I have wrought my firstborn. You have been given dominion over all that exists, but by your will all things are done, yet you do nothing. The realm I have given you is formless, ever-changing. And he knew he had wrought amiss. So the Maker turned from his firstborn, and took from the Fade a measure of its living flesh, and placed it apart from the spirits, and spoke to it, saying, here I decree opposition in all things, for earth, sky, for winter, summer, for darkness, light. By my will alone is balance sundered, and the world given new life. And no longer was it formless, ever-changing, but held fast, immutable, with words for heaven and for earth, sea and sky. At last did the Maker from the living world make men, immutable as the substance of the earth, with souls made of dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities. Then the Maker said, to you, my second-born, I grant this gift. In your heart shall burn, hey, that's a quest, all unquenchable flame, all-consuming and never satisfied. From the Fade I crafted you, and to the Fade you shall return, each night in dreams, that you may always remember me. And then the Maker sealed the gates of the golden city, and there he dwelled, waiting to see the wonders his children would create. Trinities 5, 1 through 8. Okay, that's how I say okay. I don't know why I struggled saying that. The 1 through 5. Okay, yep. History of the Chantry, Chapter 1. The first blight devastated the Tevinter Imperium. Not only had the Darkspawn ravaged the countryside, but Tevinter citizens had to face the fact that their own gods had turned against them. Dumat, the old god once known as the Dragon of Silence, had risen to silence the world. And despite the frenzied pleas for help, the other old gods did nothing. The people of the Imperium began to question their faith, murdering priests and burning temples to punish their gods for not returning to help. In those days, even after the devastation of the first blight, the Imperium stretched across the known world. Fringed with barbarian tribes, the Imperium was well prepared for invasions and attacks from without. Fitting then that the story of its downfall begins from within. The people of the far northern and eastern reaches of the Imperium rose up against their powerful overlords in rebellion. The Tevinter Magisters summoned demons to put down these small rebellions, leaving corpses to burn as examples to all who would dare revolt. The Imperium began to tear itself apart from within, throngs of angry and disillusioned citizens doing what centuries of opposing armies could not. But the Magisters were confident in their power, and they could not imagine surviving a blight only to be destroyed by their own subjects. Even after the Blight, Tevinter commanded an army larger than that of any organized nation in Thedas. But that army was scattered and its morale dwindling. The ruin of Tevinter was such that Alamari barbarians, who had spread their clans and holds over the wilderness of the Ferelden Valley at the far southeast edge of the Imperium, saw weakness in their enemy, and after an age of oppression, embarked on a campaign not only to free their own lands, but to bring down mighty Tevinter as well. The leaders of that blessed campaign were the great barbarian warlord Mepharath and his wife Andraste. Their dreams and ambitions would change the world forever. From Tales of the Destruction of Thedas by Brother Jenna TV. That's our old boy, we saved his life. Locks of the Golden Fool. Oh, yeah, okay. That was a quest. Alright. I thought it was something. The founding of the Chantry. Cordelius Draken, king of the city-state of Orlais, was a man of uncommon ambition. In the year 15 Ancient, the young king began construction of a great temple dedicated to the Maker, and declared that by its completion he would not only have united the warring city-states of the south, he would have brought Andrastian belief to the world. In 3 Ancient, now see, is this negative? Is that how I'm supposed to read that? In negative 3 Ancient, the temple was completed. There, in its heart, Draken knelt before the eternal flame of Andraste and was crowned ruler of the Empire of Orlais. His first act as emperor, to declare the Chantry as the established Andrastian religion of the empire. It took 3 years and 700 votes before Alessa of Montsamard was elected to lead the new Chantry. Upon her coronation as divine, she took the name Justinia, in honor of the disciple who recorded Andraste's song. In that moment, the ancient era ended and the divine age began. From Ferelden Folklore and History by Sister Patrine. Not Sister Patrice. We don't like her. Which will be explained in probably not that far in the future. Okay, nothing in here. Parvolan, the occupied north. In the 30th year of the Steel Age, the first Qunari ships were sighted off the coast of Parvolan in the far north, marking the beginning of a new age of warfare. History calls this the First Qunari War, but it was mostly a one-sided bloodbath, with the Qunari advancing far into the mainland. Qunari warriors in glittering steel armor carved through enemies with ease. Their cannons, the likes of which our ancestors had never seen, reduced city walls to rubble in a matter of seconds. Stories of Qunari occupation vary greatly. It is said they dismantled families and sent captives to learning camps for indoctrination into their religion. Those who refused to cooperate disappeared to mines or construction camps. For every tale of suffering, however, there is another of enlightenment deriving from something called the Qun. This is either a philosophical code or a written text that governs all aspects of Qunari life, perhaps both. One convert in Saharan reported pity for those who refused to embrace the Qun, as if the conquerors had led him to a sort of self-discovery. For all my life, I followed the Maker wherever his path led me, he wrote, but in the Qun I found the means to travel my own path. It has been said that the most complete way to wipe out a people is not with blades, but with books. Thankfully, a world that had repelled 4 blights would not easily bow to a foreign aggressor, and so the exalted marches began. The greatest advantage of the Chantry-led forces was the circle of Magi. For all their technology, the Qunari appeared to harbor great hatred for magic. Faced with cannons, the Chantry responded with lightning bolts and fire. The Qunari armies lacked the sheer numbers of humanity. So many were slain at Marnas Pel on both sides that the veil is said to be permanently sundered. The ruins still plagued by restless corpses, but each year the Chantry pushed further and further into Qunari lines, although local converts to the Qun proved difficult to return to Andraste's teachings. By the end of the Storm Age, the Qunari were truly pushed back. Rivain was the only human land that retained the Qunari religion after being freed, Its rulers attempted to barter a peace. Most human lands signed the Lemurian Accord, accepting the Deventer Imperium. It is a shaky peace that has lasted to this day. The exalted marches and examination of chantry warfare. Okay. Just makes it look like we can go in there, but we cannot. Oh my gosh. Okay. The Black Emporium now. Emporium Golem.
Edidas, stand straight. Places, everyone. Welcome to the Black.
Okay. That was my bad. Okay, didn't think that was gonna happen. Andraste in nude repose, invisible. Can stone lie with purpose? Can it beckon with raw feminine command, yet shine with an inspiring virtue? That challenge was posed to sculptor R1 de Glace, artisan and son of Empress Vosgine of Orlais. It was busy work and rhetoric in a time of excess, but answer he did, with the reserve of a nation and a passion unhealthy. His subject, Our Lady, though not as depicted in traditional statuary, whatever. Arwan's mad ambition summoned the form of Andraste, uninterrupted by the trappings of war and devoid of the vestments she assumed after death. It was living, commanding, obscene, yet inspired. To gaze upon it was to be enthralled, spiritually and physically. It was the latter that alarmed Chantry officials. They blanched at the thought of Our Lady being possessed of such a base appeal, even as they too were drawn. The work could not be destroyed without threatening the balance between empire and hallowed, so a grave censorship was enacted under the guise of honoring enchanters. Enchanters were tasked with extending the ethereal that hides the fade, drawing it around the form like a cloak. Our Lady remains in the stone and in this world, but mortal eyes are forever denied her treasure and glory. She is veiled in every sense. As in all things, unintended consequences must vex those with pure intentions. Modesty would have been better served by a thickened sheet drawn back when the techniques were to be studied. As it is, the sculptor's skills are accessible only to an exploring touch, defining the shape by intimate caress. All manner of strange congress has stemmed from tempted hands and the innocent wish for clarity. From art and shame, forbidden wonders of faith, by Faucin de Petitfort? I don't know. Translated by Philum, a bard.
Please, don't fondle Andraste.
Okay. I wasn't fondling her. I didn't touch her, I swear.
I am the great and magnificent Xenon, the antiquarian.
I have many questions about which parts of him are him, you know?
Templars sometimes come here, you know. The bloodstains take just weeks to clean up. Poor Thaddeus.
Poor Thaddeus. Okay. Okay, well shit. I did not realize that all these items had stuff. Okay, we'll wait on the items. The Anderfells. Okay, we read that, we read that, we read that. Yep. I don't know if we read quite all of these though. Hold on. Let's read about the coterie. Kirkwall is built on a solid foundation of greed and human suffering, and its underworld is a place where everything is for sale and everyone is fair game. There are many criminal empires within the city, some of which have been around since the Imperium used Kirkwall as a hub of slave trade. Alliances, spying, manipulation, betrayal, and open warfare is all commonplace in the never-ending struggle for power. The coterie is a thieves' guild that has been around for almost a century, but until recently was never a major player in the underworld. Some 20 years ago, the strongest of the local criminal empires was an ancient guild known as the Sabrathan, but its leader was betrayed from within, and during the turmoil, the coterie made a successful grab for power. Since then, they've sunk their claws into almost every level of Kirkwall, including the city guard, the Dwarven Merchants Guild, and some of the most influential citizens in the city. It's safe to say that the coterie gets a slice of every pie, and very little goes on in Kirkwall that escapes their notice. Okay, that's by Brother Genetivi. That's quite interesting. In Orzammar, Dwarven society is divided into rigid castes with houses that compete for power and prestige. But all that is discarded when a dwarf abandons the stone for the surface. Under the open sky, everyone is equal, or so the story goes. I'm just trying to decide if I did read this. I don't think so. The truth is that thousands of years of tradition are not so easily tossed aside. Even though surface dwarves are officially stripped of their castes, many maintain a hierarchy among themselves along the old caste lines. Formally, noble houses are accorded more respect than casteless brands who come up in search of opportunity. The poorest noble dwarf on the surface looks upon the rich lower caste dwarves with contempt. Upper-class service dwarf society is roughly divided into two camps. Kalnas, who insist on maintaining caste and rank, typically those from noble or merchant caste families, and Ascendants, who believe in leaving Orzammar traditions underground and embracing life in the sunlit world. Maintaining some tie to Orzammar was seen for generations as the only lifeline to surface dwarves. Bringing surface goods to their kin underground and lyrium and metals to the surface was not only the most lucrative means of making a living, but also a sort of sacred duty, as many surface dwarves willingly accept exile and the loss of their caste to better serve the house or patron. In recent years, many service dwarves, particularly Ascendants, have branched out. They started banks, mercenary companies, and overland trade caravans. They became investors and speculators in purely surface trade. These new industries have proven tremendous sources of wealth, but are looked down upon by their more conservative kin. For a less affluent surface dwarves, association with a powerful Kalna can open many doors. They can get credit with dwarven merchants and are offered work upon opportunities by the powerful Dwarven Guild, more readily sometimes than many qualified but less connected individuals. From the Dowager's Field Guide to Good Society by Lady Alson. The casteless dwarves of Orzammar have few prospects, consigned to live in a crumbling ruin on the social and economic fringes of the mighty dwarven capital. Most resort to begging, prostitution, or crime. Just as all rivers eventually join the sea, all casteless who turn to crime eventually become part of the Carta. The hero Ferelden decimated the ranks of this ancient gang while rallying the dwarves to join the battle against the archdemon Urithimel. Unable to recover the power they once had in Orzammar, they turned their attention topside, using groups of surface-dwelling dwarves to smuggle weapons, lyrium, surface luxuries, people, and other goods between Orzammar and human lands. Despite the flow of business, its members are still desperate and violent. With no strong leader to rein their excess, they have little sense of dwarven honor and freely break their word, double-cross allies, and renege on deals. From the Stone and Her Children, Dwarves of the Dragon Age, by Brother Jin TV. City Elves. When the Holy Exalted March of the Dales resulted in the dissolution of the Elven Kingdom, leaving a great many elves homeless once again, the divine Renata I declared that all lands royal to the Chantry must give the elves refuge within their walls. I don't know why reading is so hard to me right now, but I'm really struggling. Considering the atrocities committed by the elves at Red Crossing, I'm sure if somebody was like trying to guess my reading level, they would be like, this is very low. This was a great testament to the Chantry's charity. There was one condition, however. The elves were to lay aside their paragon gods and live under the rule of the Chantry. Some of the elves refused... Wow. Some of the elves refused our goodwill. They banded together to form the Wandering Dalish Elves, keeping their old elven ways and their hatred of humans alive. To this day, Dalish elves still terrorize those of us who stray too close to their camps. Most of the elves, however, saw that it was wisest to live under the protection of humans. So we took the elves into our cities and tried to integrate them. We invited them into our homes and gave them jobs as servants and farmhands. Here in Dinnerum, the elves even have their own quarter, governed by an elven keeper. Most have proven to be productive members of society. Still, a small segment of the elven community remains dissatisfied. These troublemakers and malcontents roam the streets, causing mayhem, rebelling against authority, and making a general nuisance of themselves. Oh my gosh. I was like, who the fuck wrote this? Because if it's Brother Jin TV, I've got some words for him the next time I play Dragon Age Origins. But it's Sister Patrine. Okay, well now we don't like Patrine or Patrice, okay? Because what the hell is this, ma'am? Okay. Read that, read that, read that, and that, and that. Yep. Right? Yep. I remember reading that. Okay. So for the most part, we read all those. Hey, it's me. Ah, here we go. You received the invitation? Then you are fortunate indeed. Xenon is no ordinary man, as you will discover for yourself when you enter the Black Emporium. The item you'll see resting in the chair is not one of the displays. Rather, it is the proprietor. It may speak to you. That's Xenon, using the mythical bauble that has allowed him to communicate since he lost the power of speech. The story tells that Xenon was a Kirkwall nobleman in the Age of Steel, almost 300 years ago. Obsessed with the pursuit of eternal life, he made a deal with a powerful witch. Some say it was the legendary Antivan Witch of the Wares. And his wish was granted. He obtained eternal life, but not eternal youth. His body became decrepit, and he used his vast wealth to seek out ways to preserve it. Some were magical, many were dangerous, and almost all of them were unsuccessful. What remains is an immobile mass of twisted flesh, and I think Xenon's mind has slowly decayed along with his body. He hid away in the Undercity and has slowly amassed a collection that's sure to amaze. If he invited you, he thinks you have the coin he needs to further his search for a cure. Just don't think of stealing anything. The golem is not for show. Although you're free to look around the shop, I wouldn't suggest staying over long. You might be present for one of the baths his servant gives him hourly to keep his flesh from becoming completely desiccated. Trust me, you don't want that. From a letter of unknown origin, 849 Blessed. Hold on. Okay. hold up. Okay, excuse me. Yeah, let's wait on that. Okay. A vessel of tears. Although this wax-stoppered vessel is clearly labeled Tears Shed During the Burning of Treviso, many questions remain, not the least of which burning of Treviso? When the Canary conquered it in 635 steel? When it was burned by the liberating armies of the White and Black Divines during the Second Exalted March of 752 Storm? Or when it accidentally burned to the ground in 862 Blessed after a dockhand knocked over a lantern in the warehouse full of lamp oil? Even assuming the correct event could be determined, the question of whose tears have been collected remains. Presumably not any of the numerous fire victims, surviving relatives perhaps, nobles with summer homes on the Antibes coast. It should be noted that nowhere on the label does it say that these tears were shed in relation to the event, so could have been the tears of a woman in Montsamard weeping because she was not asked to dance at the last costume ball, unaware that at that very moment one of the greatest port cities of Thedas was aflame. From the letters of Brother Ferdinand Genitivi to Sister Patrine. I like his thoughts on that. That's pretty good. Yeah, appreciate that. Stare.
On second thought, please do.
He talks so fucking slow. Lots of cool things here. Maker's Sigh. Right, that's reallocating our stuff, which honestly I might need to use because I kind of feel like I made my person like shit, but whatever. Crafting materials and potions and elixirs and such. Okay. The Box of Screaming. I received the box from a man I met in the Silent Plains. He spoke little and would not reveal his name. For reasons I shall not detail here, I had been kidnapped and left for dead in that grey, wind-blasted wasteland. After days of walking, I was parched and close to death. I was about to dash my head in on a rock to speed my passing when the man arrived. He possessed a water skin containing ample water for a person traveling from our location to the Imperial Highway. From there, he said, I could find my way to Solus, or Peraventium. He offered to give me the water skin if I agreed to take 3 things from him: a glowing crystalline shard, a bronze sphere, and an iron-bound box with no hinges. I asked the man if he wished to have these items delivered. He said that he merely wanted me to have them. It was an odd request, but I was too weak and too desperate to think much of it, and so I agreed. The man put the items into a leather sack, which he handed to me along with the water. What about you? I asked. He said nothing, only pointed in the direction from which I had come. There is nothing that way, I said. He merely smiled at me. I found the Imperial Highway about a day later, and a caravan driver agreed to take me to Peraventium in exchange for the large glowing shard. In Peraventium, I bartered the bronze sphere for new clothes and a room at the inn. That night, I examined the iron-bound box and found no way to open it. I held it to my ear and thought I heard slow, measured breathing coming from within. My mind was afire with curiosity, and I obtained from the innkeeper a large hammer, thinking to smash the thing open. The moment the hammer touched the box, it shrieked. The shrill sound pierced the depths of my soul. I gave the box to the innkeeper in the morning, and felt better for having rid myself of it. A page torn from a mysterious journal on display at the Black Emporium. Oh, so he doesn't even have the box. No, he has the box. It's screaming. The pickled apples of Arlathan. I express my incredulity. This is where it's like incredulity. Like I expressed how crazy I find this to be. Okay, all right. I know what it means. I just don't know how to say it. To the shop's assistant, who coldly noted that he did not like my implication. He insisted that every article in the Black Emporium was genuine, no fakes, imitations, or cheap knockoffs. I must have appeared unconvinced, for the assistant narrowed his eyes at me and disappeared into the bowels of the shop. Returning several minutes later, he removed the jar of pickled apples from its display case and proceeded to carefully, reverentially remove the wax seal from the lid of the jar. I watched with fascination as the jar was opened and a single rosy apple pulled from it. It looked as if it had been picked just that day, at the peak of ripeness. With a paring knife, the assistant cut the tiniest sliver of flesh from the apple and presented it to me. The flavor of that one small sliver was astonishing. It was as close to a perfect apple as ever there was. I was experiencing the essence of every apple ever eaten, and that ever will be eaten. When it was over, the sense of loss that filled me was sharp enough to move me to tears. The rest of the apple was returned to the jar, which was then resealed. I paid 5 sovereigns for that single taste, and I believe I got the better part of that bargain. A letter from Brother Genitivi. That dude is such a goofball. Yeah, we'll take this random stuff you have over here. Sure, thanks, man.
No charge. No charge, Thaddeus. You hear me?
You hear him, Thaddeus? I actually don't know which one of you is Thaddeus. I assume the urchin child. Big lockbox over here. Some creepy little statues. Okay.
Don't manhandle the urchin. He's not for sale. Find your own.
You're creepy, dude. Run away. Alright, to Darktown, where we've got a lot of stuff.
Something of yours, sir.
You have done a great kindness in returning this.
Locks of the golden fool.
Tom Wise?
Huh? Oh, Hawk. Haven't seen you since we did that job together for Athenril. Been a while. Heard you're going on some expedition into the deep roads. And right into Darkspawn territory. Sure that's wise?
We can't all make a living in the Undercity.
Just watch your back. That's all I'm saying. Say, you still in the market for some poisons? Athenril's scarce these days. And the coterie have their own mixers. You find any rare reagents and want me to whip you up something, just let me know. In fact, since you're an old friend, here's a recipe. My speciality. Everyone needs an edge sometimes, right?
Thanks, friend.
Life has
nothing.
meaning.
Yup. Depressing to be around.
I was like, go away now. Sorry, what? I don't really. Okay. Covered, but just in case. so sorry, guys. I just kind of knew that was going to get him out of there. The coterie.
Don't like Darktown?
Don't like Darktown? Die and make room. That's what that lady just said. Guess we didn't look at that stuff that we got for free from that dude. I mean, the mana stamina regen is nice. And it does do more damage. Gloves of the unknowable unknown. Sure. Yeah, okay. Just wanted to see if anyone else could wear, like, gloves or something. But no. The Twinter Imperium. For good or ill, the Imperium has put its stamp on Thedas forever. The old Imperial Highway is still in use across most of Thedas. The ruins of Tevinter Fortress and centers of magical study still litter our landscape, long after the glory of the Imperium dimmed. But the influence of that ancient empire goes deeper than this. Without Tevinter, there would have been no blights, no Andraste, no Chantry. Every aspect of our world would be altered. Hold on. Excuse me. The might and majesty of the Imperium may have faded, but it still makes its presence known, even in the most distant corners of Thedas. Every child has been brought up on stories of Tevinter as it is now, a decadent nation, ruled by the Archon and his court of magisters, great and no doubt corrupt mage lords. Their chantry a mockery of our own, their black divine a man chosen from the ranks of Minrath's circle of magi, the Maker's most hallowed law. Magic exists to serve man and never rule over him, perverted. Mages in the Imperium say their most sacred duty is to serve man, and they serve best by wielding political power. And the worst, that which blessed Andraste must weep to see. All of it is built on a foundation of slavery. While most nations forbid the buying and selling of slaves within their own borders, nearly everyone ships her people to the Imperium for sale, skirting the prohibitions against such atrocities, and feeding the Empire's endless hunger for bodies, to fight the Kunari, to work the mines and quarries, to build palaces of the magisters, to sweep the crumbling streets and turn the midterns, and to serve at a whim of their mage overseers. From Black City, Black Divine, a study of the Twinter Imperium.
All shins are the same down here.
Kirkwall Darktown. Darktown was once a mine controlled by the Twinter Imperium. Once exhausted, the mine shafts were extended under the city to dispose of sewer from Kirkwall's overcrowded population of slaves. Unsurprisingly, the tunnels became a refuge for those fleeing captivity. A similar trend continues today. The Undercity, as some call it, is home to the diseased, the insane, to criminals, and even the dead. Unwanted corpses are often discarded here by murderers and lazy undertakers. Darktown's slum make Lowtown look pleasant in comparison. The foul miasma known as choke damp clogs and swells in every corner of the Darktown, creating a poisonous mist. Its sewers are a dangerous place. The walls are damp, slick, and coated with phosphorescent lichen. The sewer is a maze, and one foolish enough to enter is not likely to be heard from again. I mean, why would you go in sewers anyway, unless you're playing an RPG? And I mean that truly and completely.
If the sellers go this far, maybe we were important.
I don't even know what that means. But we're gonna pick up Anders first. We're not gonna take him with us, but we'll open the door.
make this place a sanctum of healing and salvation. Why do you threaten it?
Strange occupation for a warden. Aren't you more about taint and death? Not healing and salvation.
Did the warden send you to bring me back? I'm not going. Those bastards made me get rid of my cat. Poor Sir Pouncelot. He hated the deep roads.
Sir Pouncelot.
You had a cat named Sir Pouncelot in the deep roads.
He was a gift. A noble beast. Almost got ripped in half by a genlock once. He swatted the bugger on the nose. Drew blood, too. The blighted warden said he made me too soft. I had to give him to a friend in Amaranthine.
See? What would he have said if we let Amaranthine crumble and burn?
I'm part of an expedition into the deep roads. Any information you have
He probably
could
still
save
would have said that
people's
same
lives.
thing.
I will die a happy man if I never think about the blighted deep roads again. You can't imagine what I've come through to get here. I'm not interested in... Although... a favor for a favor. Does that sound like a fair deal? You help me, I'll help you.
Let's be more specific. I don't do anything involving children or animals.
I have a warden map of the depths in this area. But there's a price. I came to Kirkwall to aid a friend. A mage. A prisoner in the wretched gallows. The Templars learned of my plans to free him. Help me bring him safely past them, and you shall have your maps.
Tell me about your friend.
His name is Carl Thekla. He was sent here from Ferelden when Kirkwall Circle required new talent. His last letter said the Knight Commander was turning the Circle into a prison. Mages are locked in their cell, refused appearances at court, made tranquil for the slightest crimes. I told him I would come.
Are these accusations true?
Ask any mage in Kirkwall. Over a dozen were made tranquil just this year. The more people you ask, the worse the rumors become.
I'm not sure about attacking Templars. I might rather take my chances with the Darkspawn.
If we fight the Templars, it is because they decide that anyone who befriends a mage deserves death without questioning.
Doesn't fighting them prove their point? They don't need more reasons to hunt us.
These are my terms. If you want my aid with your expedition, meet me in the Chantry tonight. I have sent word to Carl to be there. Make her willing, we will all leave free men.
Well. Make her willing. Okay, History of Kirkwall, Chapter 4. Okay. Chapter 4. So... we're missing quite a few chapters. So we're not going to read that yet, as I would rather read them in order. It makes more sense. But... I'm clearly out of order here. Because I did find out playing, you know, in Origins that if you go in the right order, you will find all of those in order.
Now we know where the sewers lead.
Her. Don't like Darktown? Die and make room. Like, okay, man, fuck.
There! It's not doing anything! You...
Let me... Oh no! I forgot that my dog was already out, apparently. That's silly me. Excuse me. Okay. I think Something over
Adventure?
here.
I'm not feeling it.
Deathroot has been used in magic and potion making for centuries. It's a fragile-looking plant with a thin stalk and purple flowers, which fruits once a year, developing bright red, fleshy pods that cause disorientation and dizziness if ingested. There are two varieties. The more common Arcanus deathroot was first found by Archon Hadrianus when he discovered it growing on several dead slaves. Oh, God. The other, Lunatic's deathroot, is most closely associated with the story of the courtesan Melissan, who sought revenge on a powerful magister and his family. She harvested the plant, baked it into small pies for the magister's banquet, and presented them to the magister at a banquet. All the guests were seized by terrifying hallucinations after eating the pies and tore each other to pieces. Okay. Excerpt from the Botanical Compendium by Ines. That's an interesting story. Danzig will be back for you later. Sister Plinth's remains. Okay. There's one of the brothers. Okay, whatever. Whatever. Okay, you guys ready for this? This is gonna get crazy. Let's go ahead and call forth dog. And you know what? I should have waited because he's not gonna be able to sense these fucking traps in here. It's fine. Okay, only stunned one of them, but that's fine, probably. Oh, okay.
Results, don't you?
I like it better when he says that when I'm a rogue, because I do feel like I get better results as like martial classes. I don't know if that's the right way to say that, but I think it is. Bitch. Hit the wrong button. See, guys, this is how we work together, okay? Varric's problem is he'll just cast bursting arrow just like this and injure all of us when he doesn't have to do that? I don't understand why that's like what his... I don't know. It's just what he does. But. Nice, a health potion. We'll definitely take that. Yeah, we'll see. We do have a lot of wine down here, for sure.
By all means, lead on.
It's truly sad what happened to the Amels, isn't it? I still remember grandmother talking about the balls that Lord Aristide used to hold at their estate, and the Antivan violin players and dancers from Afsana. No expense was spared, and no one would dare miss it, lest someone think they weren't worthy of an invitation. And then poor Revka had the child, magical talent. Oh, okay, now this explains the Amel Circle of Magi. Running in one of Kirkwall's most prominent families, the Templars had considered Lord Aristide to be the Viscount after Threnhold's arrest. Can you imagine the scandal had he been chosen? They whisked the child away to the Circle, and the Amels simply had no luck after that. Leandra ran off with a Ferelden mage, and then Damien was accused of smuggling. Poor Lord Faustin almost bankrupted his family trying to get the charges dropped. But I hear Viscount Marlowe simply wanted the Amels out of the picture. And it worked too, didn't it? By the time Lord Faustin got sick, there was only young Gamlin left and a mountain of debt. I spoke to Dulcie just the other day, and apparently Gamlin is now living in some low-town shack. Sounds like the sort of character you'd cross a street to avoid. And let's not even talk about the estate. Mother says we should remember the Amels because that sort of thing could happen to any of us. You know the old saying, a marcher's fortune rises and falls with the tide. If you ask me, this is just another misfortune that magic brings to honest folk. Andraste, help that poor family, whatever lies in store for them. An excerpt from a letter written by Lady Amelie de Montfort.
That's the Amel crest, I think. Mother described it once. Put that above your door and you better have the ties to back it up. Otherwise you just look old.
Aha! Oh. Oops. I'm so sorry, buddy. Okay, yeah, see History of Kirkwall, Chapter 2. As the Imperium's borders slowly receded after the devastation of the First Blight and subsequent barbarian invasion, many outposts in the area, known today as the Free Marches, were cut off from the centers of power. Numerous warlords tried consolidating the region into a single kingdom, but resistance prevailed. And Marius held out for almost a century until it fell into a slave revolt in 25 Ancient. It was not the first such revolt Amerius suffered, but it was the last. It started when an Alamari slave named Redun began earning popularity and power by pushing for better conditions. Redun's, growing influence prevented the magisters from touching him, but eventually they had him poisoned. Furious, a group of Redun's supporters stormed the gallows and were massacred, and so began a bloody year-long rebellion. The city burned and wealthy Hightown was sacked. The magisters hung before cheering crowds. Amerius assumed the new name of Kirkwall, Kirk meaning black, after its jet stone cliffs. The new city plunged into anarchy for over a decade, and its defenses fell into ruin. Kirkwall had been conquered many times since, the city's own independence suffering since the freeing of its slaves. Okay, nothing else in here. And we can't open that. Okay. Okay, we'll have you go first, but I don't think you're going... Oh, okay, you can see the trap. And so what if he did...
I knew I should have slit his throat.
Right, that took a hot minute. Did that work? I don't know. Oh, heck yeah. Yeah. Usually it takes me quite a bit longer to do that. Nah, you'll be fine. Okay, that was probably the quickest I've done that. Oh. Yeah, probably. Key. History of the Circle. It is a truth universally acknowledged that nothing is more successful at inspiring a person to mischief as being told not to do something. Unfortunately, the Chantry of the Divine Age had some trouble with obvious truths. Although it did not outlaw magic, quite the contrary, as the Chantry relied upon magic to rekindle the eternal flame which burns in every Bazir and every Chantry. It regulated mages to lighting candles and lamps that perhaps occasionally dusting of rafters and eaves. I will give my readers a moment to contemplate how well such a role satisfied the mages of the time. It surprised absolutely no one when the mages of Valroyo, in protest, snuffed the sacred flames of the cathedral and barricaded themselves inside the choir loft. No one, that is, but divine Ambrosia II, who was outraged and attempted to order an exalted march upon her own cathedral. Even her most devout Templars discouraged that idea. For 21 days, the fires remained unlit while negotiations were conducted. Legend tells us by shouting back and forth from the loft. The mages went cheerily into exile in a remote fortress outside of the capital, where they would be kept under the watchful eye of the Templars and a council of their own elder magi. Outside of normal society and outside of the Chantry, the mages would form their own closed society, the Circle, separated for the first time in human history. From Of Fires, Circles, and Templars, A History of Magic in the Chantry.
That has to be the vault. If there's anything to learn about the family, that's where it is.
Trash.
So this is it. Grandfather's will. Let's just take it back to Mother and be done with it.
I don't think there's any point in delaying the news.
So I'm just saying, blood's blood and all, but you are taking advantage of my hospitality. It's only fair if you make something of a monthly contribution.
You sold my children into servitude. Now you're asking me to pay rent?
Maybe just put something towards food.
You should be paying us, Uncle. We found the will.
Grandfather left everything to Mother and us. I guess he had some sense after all. See for yourself.
I should... maybe...
To my daughter Leandra, and all children born of her, the estate in Hightown and all associated revenues.
Check out the part where Gamlen is left only a stipend, to be controlled by you.
Gamlen, how could you?
You're the one who ran away, Leandra. What happened to love is so much more important than money.
It is!
You didn't even come home for the funeral.
The twins were a week old.
We all have our burdens. Mine was looking after a life you abandoned. How long was I supposed to wait?
I doubt you let the ashes get cold.
I took care of Father. I stayed. And on his deathbed, all he could talk about was Leandra. Look, sister, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done it, but I did. And there's nothing I can do to get it back.
I don't expect that, Gamlen. It's enough to know Mother and Father didn't die angry. I'll petition the Viscount for rights to reclaim the estate. Make a willing, you'll have your house back within weeks.
You don't have the coin or standing to even get an audience with the Viscount. You've got to be someone in this city to live in that house again.
Then I had better get started.
Hawk, I've got a lead for you. A merchant I acquired goods for tells me the workers have gone missing from his bone pit mining operation. He mentioned that the missing miners were Ferelden, which made me think of you. If you're interested, go hit up Hubert in the Hightown Market, a Thinril. We can go to the gallows now. Hightown and the Chantry. Okay. Suppose we'll go here first. Oh. Excuse me. Cold chill. It doesn't matter which one. We'll keep that, I guess.
The best outside of Orzammar.
Okay.
mages. You talk. I'm going to ask the guards about their training.
I know your face. I am Tobias. You and that man are both hawks. I remember your father. Malcolm was a good man.
My father must have left quite an impression. The letter I found was ancient.
I needn't tell his own child how special he was. As to the letter, it pained me to send news of the Templar's death.
The Templar?
He allowed your father to leave Kirkwall. Rule is not served by caging the best of us. A wise man.
Sounds like he didn't quite understand the job.
Doubt can serve the faithful, even as it vexes them. I fear this has been lost. I will send the letters I held. It seems fitting that they return to family. Such a friendship. Few like your father remain. Even fewer like the Templar. Rest well at the Maker's side, Sir Morivar Carver.
Father's letters. Oops. But technically, it did say items. We have King Merrick's helm. Interesting. How the hell did we get that? Ancient Vendor lore is hard to come by, but there's history to be had here in Kirkwall. The city once home to the Imperium's slave trade. What answers does Kirkwall hold? Why look here instead of Proventum or Valdorma? The Imperium does not give up its secrets easily. Even with the Magister's centuries dead, our journey is perilous. Here on the docks of the gallows, we renew our vows. And should we fail, search for the markings of the Band of Three.
How many people didn't make it out of here? We were lucky.
Okay.
I am fortunate to be tranquil. So many mages are plagued by unrest.
Okay. Don't know if that's quite accurate. Although I will say, you're not like the first mage to say that, so. I suppose it depends on the circumstances for the mage. Some of them definitely are like, oh, thank fucking God. The Seekers of Truth. Sir Whitmore, When I mentioned powers greater than the Templars, I didn't mean the Chantry. Sure, they command the Templars, but that was not always so. The Inquisition once hunted heretics and cultists as well as mages, and their reign of terror ended only with the inception of the Circle of Magi. They became the Templar Order for good or ill, the Watchers of the Mages and the martial arm of the Chantry. It was a mutually beneficial arrangement, but few know that the Chantry created yet another order to watch over the Templars, the Seekers of Truth. I know little of them myself, but I can say the following things with certainty. They serve the divine, and they are feared. When a Seeker steps from the shadows, Templars run for cover, because why would he come unless the Templars somehow failed in their duties? Seekers are extremely effective investigating abuses within the Circle and hunting particularly evasive apostates. It's said they are immune to a blood mage's mind control, and possess the ability to read minds or erase memories, but this is likely exaggeration. Or is it the harrowing for the Seekers? I don't know. So we return to my original dilemma. Who watches powers greater than that of the Templars? One assumes it's the divine, but how much could she know about their activities when their very existence is a mystery to most? A letter from an unknown priest found in the Grand Cathedral Archives, 880 Blessed. No, we found that on the ground, actually. Just being real. Okay. Pick up this quest from Hubert.
Carver, don't.
You're ever so busy with the guardsmen. It must be a burden to slum with the refugees.
It's oddly comforting that you insult me like I'm family.
That wasn't... No, I didn't mean that.
I know. But you should be glad that's how I took it.
Hear you're having problems with the bone pit. I can help.
Finally someone comes to help me. You look a bit unseasoned, but I hope you'll do. I had to suspend operations. My workers are lost in the mines or have run off. Served me right for hiring Ferelden refugees. I sent others before, but no.
We're Ferelden
Perhaps they
refugees.
are putting me off. I need someone competent to figure out what is going on.
Oof.
Surely the miners had good reason to leave.
I am at a loss. No miner has reported in, and no one takes me seriously.
The bone pit must be dangerous if people are afraid to venture there.
No, nothing like that. Pay no heed to local superstition. The bone pit is mostly harmless.
I'll head there soon.
The sooner the better. Each day the mine is not running costs me more than those miners make in a year. The bone pit is just outside the city. Any map will show it.
That's problematic, my dude.
Absolutely.
Magister Bernard.
You there, Ferelden. I wish to speak with you. I've heard you have dealings with certain elements in the city. You can get things done on the sly, as they say.
That's a fancy way to put it.
I am a magistrate in this city, and as such, I wish to hire you for a small, albeit important, job. A man I sentenced to a life in prison has escaped custody. He's been tracked to an abandoned ruin outside the city.
A request that should have been made of the guard.
We're both intelligent people. There's something in the ruins, isn't there?
There is something, yes. There are creatures in the ruins. The guards I sent are ill-equipped to deal with such beasts.
It would be easier to seal up the entrance and let the beasts take care of him.
I believe in justice, Ferelden, not unbridled slaughter. I will not let prisoners be eaten just because I don't want to get my hands dirty.
I'll take the job.
Bring the fugitive in alive, quickly and quietly. Not only will you be well paid, you'll have the gratitude of a city magistrate. Useful for a refugee, wouldn't you agree?
Yes, yes, I suppose that could help us. To the gentry.
Varric, do you do anything?
Am I the next stop in your career evaluations? Joy of joys.
You watch and you talk. Is that it?
You are dismissing hallmarks of both
You
the
watch and
utterly
you talk, you
ineffectual
drink and
the
you know
incredibly
things.
Dangerous.
I don't know what you mean.
It means coins flow when I talk and when I shut up. Like if you got paid to guard or unguard.
That makes no sense.
Good.
Good.
Look what I found. Your reason for living.
Bless my fool spirit, I never thought I'd see that again. Thank you.
This is such a weird response for me giving him ashes of a sister.
Oh, sorry. I didn't see you there. Sister Alima told me I should keep my head up more often.
Okay. Alright. I'm gonna go to bed. Thank you for watching my stream. I will stream tomorrow morning. Probably pretty early. We'll see.